forgot. I'm a kid, 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 I'm a kid.
What's up, E? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Why? What's up?
Oh, I'm chilling, man. I want to make sure I still know how to work things. It's been so long.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
My goodness. Hey, do me one favor, man, while I got you.
What's that?
Do this one for me.
See, what y'all don't understand, this was a special request. I was requested, somebody requested that I wear glasses. Somebody requested. I'm not even going to say who requested it. I'm not even going to say who requested it. But somebody requested that I wear the glasses. So that's why the glasses is on.
You got to do that for us before we get up, before the night ends, before the day ends.
See, what should happen is this should be like a Michael Jackson thing. You know what I'm saying? He was the king of pop. I'm the king of talk. The show should open like this. Just go to me. And I just sit here for a minute. Don't move. Probably about 2 minutes straight. Nothing. And then after about 2 minutes, I do this. And then everybody should go bonkers again. You know what I'm saying? Straight Michael Jackson. I do that for 2 minutes. And then you take them off. And then that's when the music starts. That's straight Michael Jackson.
That's when you want all the girls to scream and fall out too, right?
Well, theoretically, everybody was scream and fall out. But
okay. I'm having some problems trying to send this thing over to make this thing public. I don't understand why it's stuck on only me for some odd reason. Let me just see something.
All right.
This is what happens when no, it's saying that it's going to my page. So I'm gonna do the best I can to try to get it. Let's see here. There we go. My apologies. How was your weekend, E?
Oh man, my weekend was decent. I can't even really tell you what I did. I know what I did. I went and worked on the house, on the house, and spent a lot of time over there. Of course, I did church. You know, went to church and praised the Lord, as I'm known to do. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. I worked on the house, watched some TV, went to church. That's about it.
Okay.
That's a good weekend for me.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's always a good weekend when you can praise the Lord.
David wanted to know, is this live? David, this is live. Straight up, live.
What's good, David? I'm
Everybody
having
saying what's up.
problems
You know,
doing this on my page, bro. I don't know why, but I'm gonna share to it.
I normally start off my show. I say what's up to everybody who come in. I request that they come in and just say hi. So come on in, say good afternoon, say hi, throw up deuces, whatever it is you want to do. Just make your presence known. It's not required; it's requested. I appreciate it all the time. So good afternoon to everybody who's tuning in. Also, Wyatt. So I know this ain't the norm. I need to be out of here at 2:30.
Yeah, I know.
2:30.
I got you. You're just letting
All right.
everybody
I
else know.
gotta go pick up that little baby. That's a priority.
For sure. For sure. How far is she from where you are, bro?
About 15 minutes.
Okay. Then we should be good. Let me see. All right, well, what's in the news, man? What's up? What's happening?
Well, let me tell you, I saw this story, and hold on, before I get to that story, something I meant to talk about last week, at least just mention. I wanted to mention this last week, but I didn't take that opportunity. Student loan forgiveness. Student loan forgiveness. I'm all for student loan forgiveness. I don't understand the people who are against it. Now, look, I know that there are people who got issues with, some aspects of it, but there are some people who just straight up against it. Like, why do we have to pay for them? All of that kind of stuff. I don't understand that. I don't understand. Yeah. I am for. It's not going to help. It's not going to be a life changer for everybody. If you got $150,000 in student loan debt, $10,000 ain't gonna do much for you. $20,000 ain't gonna do much for you. But I mean, if you down there in the 20s, 22,000, 23,000, that $20,000 is a game changer. That's a game changer for you. But a lot of people, what their criticism is, well, we got to pay for it. And the way I look at it is this: didn't we pay for the airline bailout? We paid for that. Taxpayers. Didn't we pay for the car companies getting a bailout? We paid for it. Didn't we pay for the banks getting bail? Like, it's okay for us.
Go on and on and on.
Yeah, to pay for billionaires and multi-billion-dollar corporations to get bailed out, to get money, to get loans forgiven. But
you forgot the $2 billion that we just sent to Ukraine.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not bailing us out, but that's bailing someone else out before we, you know what I'm saying? Before we bail somebody, we bail everybody else out, bro. Now, I do have a slight problem, but I'm going to let you finish your point. You know where I'm at with this. I do have a problem, but I might shock a few people what my problem is. But yeah, keep on going. But I got a problem with this shit.
But for these people who got an issue that regular people are getting a bailout or getting some money from the government and they got to pay for it. And usually the people who are making the most noise about this are the people who sitting back cheering and rooting for the billionaires and multi-billion-dollar corporations to get money from them. And I'm not even talking about tax breaks, because the argument could be made, about tax breaks and whatever. I'm talking about straight cash from the federal government, billionaires and multi-billion-dollar corporations got. And we not complaining about that. So I don't want to hear, oh, we got to pay for this. Yeah, you got to pay for it. Okay. And help some people keep their head above water. How could you be against that? How could you be against that?
I agree. I agree to a certain extent. I have a problem with this thing. And I have a problem in a way that some may not agree with, but then if you let me explain, they may understand. Sorry, I'm just making sure we're good. Jason says, don't forget about the airlines. I think you mentioned the airlines first. I think that was the first one you. Listen, I have a problem with it from the aspect of it not being enough. Okay. And I don't think $10,000 or $20,000 is enough the way the government is advertising this thing to be a game changer. I heard you say game changer. Okay. I think this is a pump fake of the government doing something for brown people, for us. I think more white people will benefit from this than we will. And I have a problem every time it's time to do something for us that more people outside of us benefit from what's meant for us than anybody. Now, granted, they didn't say this is for black folks. So this is for everyone. I get it. But they're also advertising this thing as if it is for us. Do you understand what I'm saying, bro? Like they're using us as the more beneficiary of the program when in fact we're not. Somebody said, Brent said, why do you think more white people will benefit from this? Because what we don't understand is white people get Pell Grants and non-Pell Grant situations as well. And let's look at the geographic, let's look at the numbers of how many of us are in college versus them. I'm not saying we're not in college. I'm saying when they have 4 or 5 times the amount of people in college, how could you not see that it's that they're going to benefit more from it than us? Do you think that every white kid that's in school, mommy and daddy is paying for it? Do you think that every white kid that's in school, like they don't get Pell Grants, they don't get, they're going to qualify for this as well. Somebody just said, not true, Wyatt. This will disproportionately help black folks, especially black women. These are the facts. Well, let me tell you what's a fact. The fact is, I'm not the only one that feels this way. The leader of the NAACP nationally feels the same way that I feel. I'm not saying that I'm against the program. I'm saying I'm against the dollar amount. I don't like the fact that it's only $10,000 and $20,000 when I know what college costs. That's what I'm saying. So don't get it twisted. I'm not saying that I don't want this thing to happen. I'm saying those same black women that you're talking about, I think it was Brent, NAACP says the same thing, but he feels like black women, that black people are being used in this situation, especially black women. And I have to agree with the NAACP on that. And when this thing is all said and done and over with, let's see how many people benefit from it. That's all I'm asking. I think that if you want to really set or kind of get the wealth gap back in motion, or if we can compete with this wealth gap, then it has to be more money. Because I'm telling you right now, from experience, I have a 21-year-old daughter up at OSU, and just last Thursday, I just signed another loan for $17,000, and that was just for one semester. So I'm telling y'all my opinion based on the things that I'm currently going through right now, not reading anything in the media, not listening to politicians and their stories of economic breakdown and all that old shit. I'm not looking at any of that. I'm looking at real life of what's going on over here in my household. And I'm telling you that a $10,000 is exactly what the president, Derek Johnson, said of the NAACP. He said this amount of money is nothing. He said this amount of money is like dropping a bucket of water on a forest fire. And I agree with him. I don't mean to be negative about it. I'm just being honest with you, saying that $10,000 or $20,000 in most college situations is really just taking care of interest, especially if you get the loan prorated, or not prorated, but deferred. So no, I'm just being honest.
Yeah, I don't understand how people think it will disproportionately affect black people. Uh,
It'll
unless the
what?
idea is that they believe that more black people get student loans than white people, which that I've seen nothing to lead me to believe that. So if you're forgiving student loan debt, $10,000 or $20,000 worth of student loan debt, that's across the board. That's
Right.
across the board. Again, if you know under a certain, what was it, $125,000.
125, correct.
So yeah, that I don't understand how that would disproportionately affect black women.
Well, what they're saying is because there's more black women in college than there are men. When they're represent more women, more black women represent in college. Okay, so they're saying that it's more a burden on them because it's more of them. So they're least likely to they're going to benefit from it, but they're not getting. I mean, he was basically saying for the vote. We have a lot of black women that vote, and these are the same women that are in school that are trying to get this money. And he's just basically saying what I say, and I have to agree with him. I'm happy to hear someone else say it and say it openly. And it's just not enough. It's not something that it's not how they're advertising it, and it's not that much of a game changer. It's one semester or it's 1 year of interest of a 4-year college. And for some people, it's almost like we were talking earlier. And I said, bro, if you were on a desert and you were thirsty from 4 days and out in the desert in Phoenix, and I came up to you and I gave you, I gave you a soda top of water. For me to give you that soda top, that's not going to necessarily save you. And then you would sound ungrateful for me giving you that little bit of water when in fact, I ain't have to give you any. And I just see this as a pump, man. I know a lot of people are going to say, why are you always on some other shit? But I'm being honest with you. If you're going to advertise this thing to the black community as being a game changer, and if you're going to tell us that this is building the gap between the wealth gap, if you're building us up and getting us to a better place in the wealth gap, then you need to make this thing free, or you need to take at least 90% of my college debt and give me this. This is not, you had somebody that you said, E-Man, that this was going to work out great for, because they might own.
It's going to be amazing for her. It's going to almost totally eliminate her student loan debt. And for her, that's going to be amazing. I think she told me she owes right now, her balance is $22,000.
Right.
She qualified for Pell Grants when she was in school. So she will possibly get $20,000 forgiven. So she down to $2,000 in student loan debt. For her, that's amazing.
Yes.
But like I said, if you owe $125,000,
that's 1 year of interest. That's about 16, 17 months of interest on it. And what's the going rate right now? 5%. You got to understand, man. Look, man, I'm not trying to be negative toward the situation. I just don't like when people pump fake that shit about how they helping somebody and then use us to make it seem like it's more beneficial for us and that you're doing something for me. You're not. Now, the young lady that you're describing, that's an ideal situation, but that's not a usual situation. If the best way to do this is if you leave school, you leave high school, and you have tons of scholarships lined up, and you have academic scholarships, you have all these scholarships lined up that are going to be the majority of your college money, tuitions. This could work out for you fine. Just like the young lady, if she had $20,000 worth of debt, or $22,000, $23,000, she might leave a balance of $3,000. That's not going to happen to the majority of people. because that's a different circumstance, quite honestly, E-Man. And I just can't fall. I'm not falling for it, bro. I'm with the NAACP on this. And it's funny because a lot of the people who think that the people who are against this, I'm not against it. I'm just telling you that it's not solid for me. It's not a solid situation. It's a fake ass, pump fake ass, we doing this for you. And I just can't, I'm not going for that, bro. I think that if you want to separate the wealth gaps or put us in a contingency, if you want to put us in a contingency, if you want to put me in the race, you're going to have to pay for 90% of my school. That's what I think it takes. Keep in mind, the white people that are going to benefit from this, E-Man, even those that have parents that make over 125,000 or 250 combined, a lot of those white kids go to college and they claim independency. You understand? They're not there on mommy and daddy's dime. They're 18 years old. So now they can apply for them same Pell Grants and all that schooling. They can apply the same way as an individual.
Right.
They're going to benefit from this. And so, look, I don't have a problem with people that benefit. Just don't use my people to make it seem like you're doing something for us when in fact you're doing it for everybody. That I can't.
But see, I think he's using it, or I think they are using it with they're using everybody. They're not just using black people. They're using young people. They're using everybody, knowing that $10,000 or $20,000 is not going to make a big dent. But it's politics. So the Biden administration gets to say, and even here in these midterms, they get to say, look, this is what Democrats did for you, young people. So they get to target young people. We forgave this much debt. They get to target, because we all of us, young people, old people. I was listening to Al Sharpton a couple days ago, and there was a lady called, she was a teacher, and she was talking about how she was really concerned because, and get this, she said, and this, nobody else paid much attention to this. This whole student loan thing is a for real crisis. She said, I'm a teacher, and I am a few years away from retiring, and I have a mountain of student loan debt that I still have to pay. And I thought, hold on, you went to college. You got your degree. You became a teacher. You have had an entire career teaching. You're about to retire. And your concern when you retire is, how am I going to pay my student loan debt? The fact that colleges are so overpriced that you can have a whole career, age to retirement, still trying to pay off student loan debt, it's horrible. So the idea that I'm the Biden administration and I can say, hey, I forgave $20,000 in student loan debt, that's going to touch that retired person who still got student loan debt, which is horrible that you have to say that a retired person still has student loan debt. But that's going to touch that retired person. It's going to touch black people. It's going to touch white people, Hispanics, young. Like, they can target this message to everybody. It's just politics. And they know, the Biden administration knows that they're not going to make a significant difference, impactful difference for the majority of people who have student loan debt. But for them, right, it's something that they can tick off. We made the promise. We did it, and I gave you $20,000. That do to get somebody's vote, just on the strength of that.
Well, you got to understand the messaging too. I also gave you a sip of water in the desert. You still died. You know what I mean? But I can brag. I can say whatever I want to say and say that I did try to help you. And it's just.
See, this is the way the Biden administration, though, looking at it. If taking that exact same scenario, check it out, somehow I still exist. I'm able to vote, and Wyatt running for some office. Wyatt can always come to me and say, remember when you was in the desert, I gave you water. And some people, a whole lot of people, ain't gonna think, this mug just gave me a thimble full of water. They gonna think, he did give me some water. And then you gonna get that vote.
Yeah. It's all in the message to me, bro. I'm just not falling for it. I'm not here to destroy or look, I guess 10,000 is better than nothing. 20,000 is better than nothing. So I'm not trying to crap on the idea, but I also have concerns of who actually get the money, because you got people who walk away with college debt who never really went to school. I mean, they went to school, but they didn't finish. Will they qualify? I mean, think about it. What about and I'm saying in some cases it should be that way. You get a young kid, he go to college, he pledges, one of the fraternities. He has fun the first year. He accumulates $22,000 in debt, and he starts the next year and he fails out of school. And it happens. Sometimes we fail out. We fell out of school. But one thing that will stay with you is that debt. You might not have, you may not have graduated, you may not have gotten through year 2 or whatever, but you still owe that money. So do we as citizens who pay, as taxpayers, do we pay for somebody that was being irresponsible in school? Now that has no color on it. I'm saying that's
yes.
for the white.
I understand what you're saying. I say yes. If you've forgiven $10,000 of student loan debt for people making under a certain amount of money, that's got to be across the board for people making that certain amount of money. You can't be if you graduated. If you graduated and you work in that field that you graduate, it's got to be across the board.
Well, there's going to be an application process, and I'm wanting to know. See, there's not enough information out there for me to even be able to criticize the whole program, but I still have those questions. Who will actually qualify for the money? If it's kids that dropped out of school for, irresponsible reasons or got kicked out of school, but they had his college debt. What if a kid got expelled for doing something? What if you get a date rape or somebody and they left around $17,000 worth of student loans behind, but they got expelled? I'm not trying to be Mr. Negative. I'm just being honest and saying there's going to be some people that get this that really don't deserve it. We know that. But here's who do deserve it. The young lady that may have run into her college love, and they end up having a child and she can't finish school, okay, because she had a child. He's nowhere to be found. Here she is with $22,000 worth of college debt, but she has to go into the workforce. That young lady gets my vote, and I have no problem supporting the fact that, yes, she may have made a bad decision and had, and got pregnant, and went through that process and has to work. I'm willing to help someone like that, but I'm not willing to feel comfortable helping somebody that just BS through school, pledged, you pledged and you part of a fraternity or a sorority and had your fun, but you failed out of school and now we're paying for that debt. I don't support that.
I get what you're saying, but I support all of it. And I support all of it because we supported irresponsible people in the banking industry who did things, unscrupulous things, and put themselves in a bad position, and we gave them billions of dollars. We supported car companies. A lot of these bankers
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm saying, like, in the banking industry, you mean the banks themselves?
The banks, the mortgage companies, yes. Yeah. They knew that when they was giving out all them risky loans and stuff, they knew what they were doing. They didn't care.
Yeah, I think that's a little bit.
Bailed them out,
though. A little bit different. I think it's a little bit different when you start looking at some of the other things that we've bailed out, because some businesses are too.
But I don't agree. I think there are people in some of these industries who did irresponsible things to put the industry in that position, and we still bailed them out. We didn't say, well, your position is honorable, but you did risky stuff, so you don't get a bailout. No, we said we bailing out the industry. No matter who did what, no matter what decisions were made, y'all too big to fail, or whatever the case may be. So we bailed them out. So give that same look. You got student loan debt. If you went and got pregnant, or if you partied and dropped out, if you got student loan debt, you get some of this money.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, we have to agree to disagree on that one. I'm for the girl that got pregnant or the young man that dropped out of school to take care of his child. I'm for that, but I'm not for the irresponsible behavior. I'm not for that. And what I don't understand in some of the comments, people are acting like I'm against this program. I'm for the program, probably more so than you are. And the reason why I say that is because I'm the one sitting here telling you that it's not enough money. It's not
Right.
enough money. It's a great program. It should be in the place. I'm the one who told you a long time ago. I don't know if I said it on here or on Wyatt Live, to be honest with you, E. I lived in Europe where college is free. I lived in a place where the students leave high school and have to give 3 years to the country in order to go to school for free. And when they go for school for free, they give 3 years. I'm for that program as well. Why not we have a program like that? Do you know how many brothers and sisters would capitalize and go in the reserves or go do something for the country or for the state and get 100% college reimbursement? I would love to see a program like that. What I'm telling you guys is $10,000 of forgiveness is a drop in the bucket in 90% of our college situations right now. The other thing that I'm saying is I feel used. I feel like these guys are using black folks to make it sound like they're doing something for us. And all I'm saying to you, huh? Who gave somebody said, who gave me a black eye? Do I have a black eye on here, guys?
I don't know where that
I'm
came
just trying to figure out why people think that I'm against this program when in fact I'm in the same position as Derek Johnson from NAACP. He's the president, and I feel the same way he feels. And I say to you that I just don't think that this is a game changer. And I don't think that this is going to catch us up in the wealth gap. I think you got to be careful in the message. You got to pay attention to what people say to you when they're delivering, when they're selling you something.
No doubt. No doubt. All right. There was also another story that I saw that I wanted to discuss with you. I want to get your take on it. A federal jury in Atlanta awarded $100 million to a panhandler who fell and broke his neck. Yes, fell and broke his neck after police shocked him with a stun gun following a foot chase.
Can I say one thing real fast, E?
Sure.
I see Daryl Carpenter said nobody said it was a game changer. Every politician that I've seen, what's the ex-mayor of Atlanta? Really nice, sharp sister. I keep wanting to call her Lightfoot, but it's not her.
No, I can't remember her name. I can't
It'll
remember
come
her
up on
name,
the screen because this is like the third time I forgot her name. She called it a game changer. Your president, Joe Biden, called this student loan relief a game changer. Somebody just Keisha Lansbottom. Yeah. Thank you, Crystal Smith. Thank you. All you gotta do is cut on CNN. Game changer is where I got that from. Okay, I didn't create that word. I even heard E say game changer on something, like for the person we were talking about that you said had 22,000 and 20,000. That is a game changer. But for 90%, 95% of the people that will qualify for this is not in that situation. They're not in that situation. Guys, I love the program. I just don't think it's structured right. I don't think that it's enough money. I don't think it's a true game changer for brown and black, for us. I just don't, because I know what college costs. I'm sure everybody here do, but some don't. But if you get the bills, and if you like, I have a college student right now. There's college debt that will go on for generations between my wife and I. Then my daughter. And now I have a 17-year-old that will be graduating. And check this out. My daughter who will be graduating high school this year, E, will be a sophomore because of the credits. Will roll over from high school because she's taking classes at University of Cincinnati. So that's going to save us money. But these are the things, those are the type of situations that we have to get our children prepared for and be ready for. But I just can't take it, bro. I can't take the fact that every time something like they use us to justify a program, and we're going to get the short end of the stick. Bottom line, that $10,000 will help my daughter's interest for maybe a year and a half on $125,000. We're well over. She's well over $130,000 in student loan debt. She's a senior this year at OSU. Sorry, go ahead on that other story. My bad, E. I just was reading some shit like people thinking that I'm against it. I'm far from against it. I want it to be not only a program, I want it to be free. And see, free is not a word for me. I just know that we need to be able to work. Don't tell me that you're trying to build a wealth. If you're trying to catch us up in the wealth slacking or the wealth game, and then sit back and pump fake me with a bullshit ass, fraction of what the majority of people gonna owe. And then it ain't even gonna be us. We're a small percentage of people that will benefit from this. And a lot of people are thinking because they seeing shit in these news clippings that it's it's not true.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, that's what it is. All you gotta do is look around at college campuses.
Quick question. How much would we have looked at and said that's significant? If you had to put because they got to put a number on it. I mean, of course, I would rather them just say we gonna forgive your student loan debt, but they're not gonna do that. So they got to put a number on it. $10,000 is not much. $20,000 is not much. Would $50,000 have been good? $70,000? What number would they have had to give for us to say that's significant?
You have to at least say for me, E, I can't put a number on it, but I could say this, and I'll say it with confidence. If they're not paying for 50%, minimum 50% of the college, they're not making any damage. They're not doing any damage to the whole thing, because what a lot of people don't understand, bro, is this. The interest that accrues on these loans is ridiculous. The interest alone is going to take up the $10,000 or $20,000 that these people are going to get. I promise you, bro. I just took out a $17,000 piece of paper with them. The interest on it was $8,700. And if you don't get off, that's the estimated time. I think it's 160 payments or some shit like that. No one pays their loans off right on schedule. No one. You have deferments. You go through shit in life. You understand what I'm saying, bro? And 160 is the estimated that it's going to take.
King.
But you see what I'm saying, bro? Because you don't make those payments don't mean that the interest is not accruing.
Right.
Bro, I'm just saying to folks, man, like, okay, y'all want to think there's somebody winning for you, or you think somebody doing something for you, bro. I'm like Derek Johnson from the NAACP. It's a bucket of water that you just threw in the center of a forest fire that is not going to do anything but knock that little portion. It's going to put a dent. Now, for that individual, bro, that you said had 23,000 in loans, or 22,000, I guarantee you they went in with a bunch of scholarships. If that's the case, let's start gearing our brothers and sisters, our young brothers and sisters, up for stuff like that. You see what I'm saying? Let's find out these scholarship programs. Let's put us in a position where when we go to college, we have a $50,000 or $40,000 remaining balance. And if that's the case, then this 10,000 and 20,000 is significant, because it would be 50%, close to it. Right now, bro, I hate to just be the sore thumb on a whole finger, on a whole hand, but I'm being honest with you from experience, from receipts right now.
No, I mean, you're right. I don't disagree with you. I don't think it's a whole lot of money. Plus, again, I understand the whole purpose for it. The whole purpose for it is political. It's to say we did this to be able to have something to put out there come the midterms and then come the general election. Democrats did this and target that to voters and get them votes. It wasn't meant to be, or at least I sure hope it wasn't. If this was meant to be a game changer for the majority of people with student loans, then there are a lot of people who dealt with this program, who have no clue what's going on out here with student loan debt. Like
Right.
no clue.
You know
But
how
I
it
don't.
accumulates.
They do understand it, and it is clearly just a political thing to throw out there and use to reel in some votes.
Right. And here's the other thing, man, that I know we need to move on, E, but it's just it's just a pump fake to me, man. That's all I can say. I had something else I was gonna say about it, but I'd rather not say it. But it's sad. It's sad, man. It's sad that we, and then it creates a divide as well. Because when somebody try to tell you, when somebody try to kick that knowledge to you and be like, hey, bro, like, you know, you know, it make it seem like, emotions get attached, and it seemed like that you're not for your people and all that old shit, man. I'm tired of my people getting used, bro. That's where I'm at with it. I'm just tired of that.
All right. We ready to move?
I think so. Until I see somebody else put a comment up there about I don't care or something, or I don't want to see people, go to college for. I don't know. Yeah, let's move on. It's best we do.
I want to talk about this man who just got $100 million, or $100 million award. Not that he got the $100 million. He was awarded $100 million by a jury after an Atlanta police officer tased him. This happened in 2018, causing his head to hit the cement. He's now paralyzed from the neck down.
How old is he?
The jury, huh?
Did you
He's
say how old?
69. 69.
He ain't gonna
He
see
was
that
what,
money.
65 at the time. The jury ruled the officer used an unreasonable amount of force. The Georgia NAACP said it's the largest settlement they've ever heard of, especially where the victim is still living. What got me about this, well, the story, as I understand it, as I heard his attorney explaining it, and this is his attorney explaining it. His attorney says this man was talking, he was in the street talking to somebody in a car. Police pulled up. Police thought he was panhandling. They had no proof of it. I'm going to say theoretically, maybe it was in an area where a lot of people panhandle, and he looked the part.
Okay.
The police rolled up on him. They say, well, he was panhandling, and the police rode up on him, chased him, and then ran after him. His attorney said since he's not under arrest, he can run or do whatever he wants to do. But they tasered him, shot him in the back from about 10 feet away. He fell face forward. He face planted, smashed his head, multiple facial fractures, brain injury, and broke his neck.
Wow.
I watched some of the body cam video. It's terrible. It's terrible. But he got a $100 million award. $60 million of it to be paid by the city. $40 million to be paid by that particular officer. $40 million to be paid by that officer.
60
kinda
from
like-
the city?
60 from the city
Okay.
and $40 million from the officer. I kind of like that. They say he already got $14 million in medical expenses.
Right.
And of course, they're estimating that this, this is medical expenses, et cetera, et cetera. But he's 69. He needs 24/7 care. And so it's a horrible thing. But what jumped out at me that I liked, even though, I'm a realist. He's not going to get that $40 million. He's not going to get that $40 million from the officer.
He may
That
not get
officer-
that 60.
Yeah, but that officer ain't got no $40 million. But
No.
here's what I like, even though we need to tweak it a little bit. I like the fact that they went after the officer. That means somewhere some judge said, no, you don't get qualified immunity for this. You are responsible
Right.
for your actions. You are responsible. So they said 60% of the responsibility goes to the city, 40% goes to that officer. Now, clearly, that officer ain't gonna pay it. What you say? Why he gonna file bankruptcy? That's gonna be the end of that. I don't think he should be allowed
Yeah.
to. I want to see more. I want to see more of this. I want to see more officers when they make horrible decisions that affect people's lives in a negative way held responsible. Even though he's still on the police force and literally still out on the streets policing. He shouldn't be. He shouldn't be allowed to be a police officer anymore. And he should be held accountable. If what he did is against policy and violated that man's rights, he should be in jail. And he should be assessed with some sort of financial penalty that he cannot wipe out. Some sort of financial penalty that he cannot wipe out. But that's not the way it goes. Somebody want to know, was the cop black to taser him? Yeah. Yeah, the cop that tasered him was black. I don't know why that makes it better.
I didn't know that. I mean, not that it really matters, because, you know, I don't know if that would matter in the decision of the court. But for him to still be on the job, I don't understand that. I don't know. I don't even know why the city. I'd have to read the story or know the details, not to justify anything. But what city would want a cop like that just cost them $60 million on their force?
But he's still there.
I don't understand that. You see what I'm saying?
They had him off for like they had him off for 6 months. 6 months, I believe I read in the story. And they brought him back.
Well, they deserve anything that happened to the city. You understand what I'm saying? I couldn't have an employee on my team, because that's what he is for the city. He's an employee of the city. There's no way in hell I would employ someone that's costing me that much money. I mean, they're a liability, obviously. And I don't know why. That's just the business end of it. Personally, I mean, you know, I wouldn't want somebody that would do such life damaging actions to someone and think that they're good for our team. I would think that, I don't care if he's black or white, you know, the officer or whatever. I mean, he has to go. That just makes no sense to me.
Are we ever going to get to a point I got to think of, say, in qualified immunity. I'm not necessarily against, like, if a police is justified in shooting somebody, because there are certain times when they're justified. They shouldn't be held accountable for that. But in cases where they're not, I don't think you should be able to file bankruptcy and get out of paying that debt. I believe if we want better policing, I'm not just talking about for black people, I'm talking about across the board. If we want better policing, we gotta start holding law enforcement accountable for their actions, because what's to stop you from okay, $40 million. You got a judgment against you for $40 million. You would think that might make somebody say, okay, maybe I won't be a bad actor anymore. Other police officers might look at that and say, ooh, I don't want to be a bad actor anymore because I might have to pay for that. But when this dude filed for bankruptcy and don't have to pay a dime, what they looking at? Okay, he'll get a judgment against me. I get it taken off. I keep my job and I can keep doing what I'm doing. We gotta begin to take this. We gotta begin to take this stuff seriously. And somebody did Emmanuel just say he was against bankruptcy? Jack, you didn't hear me say nothing like I was against bankruptcy. That's nonsense. And you just trying to be nonsensical for the purpose of being nonsensical. I am against. And if it's got to be a special rule, you know, police officers get special privileges as law enforcement. So there should maybe be some special rules. And if it's got to be a special rule that if you're a law enforcement officer and you've been sued and found liable for something, you can't get that taken off by filing bankruptcy, because it's just so much. And I know the idea that every time we see it in the news, don't make it as bad as it seemed, but it does to me because we see it so often. And it really is, even though I don't know if anybody would agree with that, I think it's at epidemic proportions. I think it's at epidemic proportions. And if we don't do anything about it, we're going to keep being in a position where people don't trust police. Because if you can't hold them accountable, a person who you can't hold accountable can do and will do anything.
Well, I'll give you my opinion on the money end. I feel better that anybody that's done wrong by the police can definitely be compensated. If you're looking to be able to get $40 million out of a police officer, that ain't, I don't care if they got them a $10 million settlement, they're never going to see the money. So I would rather hold somebody responsible financially that can cut you a check, and that is the city. If you get a $5 million reward for something that a police officer did, I would look, you're going to get it from the city versus the cop. And I mean, that would only make sense. If you went out there and something happened to you by a police officer, I think you might have a little different change of heart if you had to go to court and sue somebody. And I was suing the city of Cincinnati versus Officer Smith over here, and I was trying to get $5 million.
Let me say, I think I like that's why I like what they did. 60 million from the city, 40 million from the cop. Now you really could just look at it and say he got a $60 million judgment. But if that police officer can't get rid of that debt, then he working for me for the rest of his life because I'm coming for him. I'm coming for him. I'm gonna be like, what's the Nicole Brown Simpson's daddy? Everything you make.
Right.
You know, I'm gonna be standing right there with my curled up mustache talking about that's mine.
Yeah, I think those, I mean, not to get too technical into this, into the law aspect of it, but I don't think that they tried to sue the city for $100 million and then some judge and a panel and a jury said, no, what we're going to do is we're going to break this up 60-40. Those had to be two separate civil suits. You can't, I can't sue you and then I turn around and say, okay, your partner who was with you, they're gonna separate what I sue you. I sue you for 10 million, and they're gonna say, well, your partner was with you, so y'all 50-50. I gotta sue your partner.
If I'm suing both of y'all, I'm suing the police department, and I'm suing you as a law enforcement officer in your individual capacity. I'm suing both of y'all.
Yeah, and I think that's what happened. I think, see, the way kind of it came off a little bit like the man sued the city, and then the court held the police officer 40%. You know, they said that he was 40% liable, the 60-40 split. And I don't quite think it happened that way. I think there were two different suits. I mean, he could have been suing both of them for 100 million, and they agreed to a 60 from one people from the city and then 40 from the other. That could have been the situation. Or he could have been suing them both for 50, and they decided to give him 10 more from the city and then 10 less from the individual. For me, if you're talking about suing somebody, look, it's not ideal for me to sue a police officer for $40 million and then I win. And then what am I ever going to get? I mean, I'm never going to get anything from that. I'm 69 years old, right?
I'm suing everybody. If I'm here, I'm suing the people who made the taser. I might not get nothing. I'm suing the people who made the taser. I'm suing the people who poured the concrete. I'm suing everybody. But definitely I'm suing the city and that particular police. Because again, I can almost guarantee you, he claimed they asked for qualified immunity. They had a hearing and some judge somewhere said, no, you don't get to claim qualified immunity on this. You are responsible. There is a long held policy that you don't shoot people in the back running away, or something because how that qualified immunity has got to be something clearly established. And they said you violated it, and so no, you on the hook.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, E, the sad part about that, I don't know, was it a brother? I heard it was a black cop. Was it a black man that this happened to?
It was. Yes.
Well, it was. Well, here's the thing. Chances are This is for his family. He'll probably never see any of the 60 million that was won in judgment by the by him against the state, or excuse me, against the city, because they're definitely going to appeal the judgment amount, and that could stay in court for 10 years. You see what I'm saying? And based on his condition, he may not see 10 years, man. It's pretty tough to be 69 years old and now to have those medical situations. You said he had like 14 million in medical bills, and he's a paraplegic now. He can't really do life expectancy on that is already short. So hopefully his kids and his family will be able to benefit from this tragedy financially. But this thing could stay in court on appeals for 10 years, 15 years. And another sad note about it is probably chances are the attorney that firm that picked this up is probably doing it, all free, so to speak. And they're probably going to get the lion's portion of this money because of how long it'll stay tied up in litigation. And they'll bill them. They'll probably get 70, 80% of the money because of the billables. It's sad, but it's true. This is another reason why I think it's important that the city has to pay, because at least, at least the family, someone will benefit from it somewhere down the line. They're not going to just cut them a check. And somewhere down the line, I mean, if the family gets 20% of that money or 30 or 40% of that money, they'll be doing great. But unfortunately, the cop don't have 10 years to take it in litigation. He measures not to pay. I seen somebody made a comment saying, what was it? It was garnish they ass, Wyatt, meaning you're garnished the paycheck of a police officer making 50 grand a year, 50 or 60 grand a year. So, I mean, that's that drop of bucket, that water cap of what they owe you. You see what I'm saying? That garnishment is nothing near. I mean, he has $14 million in medical bills already. What do you think a garnish is going to do to help him in his medical bills?
See, he should be able to. His family should be able to take that house, sell it, take any cars, any boats, anything that law enforcement official owns.
Any assets,
take it,
you're right.
Seize it, sell it, and garnish any future wages that officer gets. And I just think, no, you're not gonna get your $40 million. You're not gonna get your $40 million from that cop. But I think other police officers watching that police officer deal with a lifestyle of indebtedness based on his horrible decisions might, if we started seeing that consistently, they might be like, you know what? We think he was panhandling. We ain't got no proof of it. He running away. He ain't hurt nobody. Gonna run away, old man. As opposed to, because some of that, if you ask me, it's ego. You're not going to get away from me. It ain't like, you know what I'm saying? Plus, I don't even like the idea. And I meant to look this up before we came on the show. But I know that there are a few court decisions striking down some of these panhandling ordinances as unconstitutional, because it comes down to First Amendment right. You got a right to freedom of speech. And if your speech is, can I have $1? Then how do you say you're not allowed to ask somebody a question?
Right.
So I know that there are some court opinions striking this stuff down. But how do your ego get so out of hand that you're not going to run away from me because you was asking somebody, potentially, they didn't even know for sure, you was potentially asking somebody for money?
Yeah. Okay. Hey, E, we got a call over on this end. You want me to take it real fast?
Absolutely.
Okay, give me 1 second. Let me tie us in. Good evening, caller. This is King and I. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. How you doing?
Hey, what's going on?
Yeah, it's Fane Rothstein,
Hey, Frank.
a.k.a. Hurricane. You can call me Slurricane.
Okay. What's happening with you today, brother?
Oh no, it's just since there's two different numbers. Like, can I call back in on Emmanuel's number and that be, you know what I'm saying, and not be considered double dipping?
Only you would think of some shit like that, Fame. But I don't know, man. We ain't made a rule up on that one yet. Let's.
Oh, I'm always trying to find loopholes. You know, that's my game.
I got you. What's good with you today, man? What's happening?
A lot of very interesting conversations. I'm just glad that black folks that are starting to have a voice. You know, not just you know, militant black folks, but like mainstream black folks that are having a voice about how the you know, how they're flipping the game on us and whatnot. You know, with the what is that? The student loan repayment. That's nothing more than the same jokes they pulled on us with the civil rights bill. You know, it included women. You know, white women. You know, who were pretty much, you know, who's as long as they, you know, whose womb will produce the you know, the tormentors, the white males. You know what I'm saying? So like, it really was nothing for us. They benefited from way more than we did. And probably will happen the same thing with this, but like I said, I'm just glad that we're out of that chaos era and we're starting to call this shit out.
Yeah.
So props to all the folks for doing that. I'm sorry.
Let me ask you, Fame. So are you you're on the college thing right now? So basically, what you're saying is, do you feel that other people than African Americans, than us, than black folks will benefit more on this thing than we will? Do you think that white folks and Asians or whoever else will benefit more on the college?
Yeah, I never looked at it as a black initiative.
But do you see it as them selling it as a black thing? Don't you hear it out here being promoted like it's going to benefit us more than anyone?
Oh yeah, man, that dude, that current president says a lot of funky ass shit, and people be buying it. It's like it's gotten tired. Yeah, why other non-blacks will benefit way more from it than we will. You know, like I said, you mess around long enough, they're gonna tell you that Brittany Griner is reparations. You know, going to get her, they're gonna twist that somehow on us. Like, you know, these people are treacherous. But the main thing I wanted to talk about was the other topic, the police. That was a, you know, very handsome settlement for that man to receive, that he won't receive, to be awarded anyway. But all they have to do, and I want to say it was one of those Latin presidential hopefuls from back in like 2017 election. You know, as they were weeding them out, one of them said this is the best idea ever. Make the police carry their own insurance. And that way, you know, they get involved in some effery. It comes on their insurance policy, you know, and if their insurance, you know, if they're too volatile to carry insurance, they can't be a cop.
Yeah, you talk sort of like a doctor. How doctors have to have medical.
Exactly, or hell, a licensed motor operator, a driver.
Yeah.
You know, if it's too expensive, you can't afford them. People, you won't have insurance. Then you're gonna have a whole hell of a lot of problems. Do that with the cops. You know, make them carry their own insurance, their own liability, outside of the union in the city or the jurisdiction they work for. They get caught up. You know, you imagine. You know, there's $100 million payment. Ain't no insurance company's gonna want to cancel this guy will never work again.
And you would think, Fame, to be honest with you, I mean, it's a pretty good idea, but you would think that if you have an officer that just got sued or was in litigation of $100 million, what force would want to hire that man? What city, not force, what city would want that liability coming over to their police department? I wouldn't want somebody that's already been sued for 10 million or 20 million or $30 million to come work for me.
Man, these mofos rehired the dude who shot a 12-year-old boy, Tamir Rice. This fool ended up getting a job somewhere. So, you know, I mean, hell, they what's your name, Emmanuel? You were around here. What's his name? What's his name? George
Floyd?
No. The guy, Blaine. You know what I'm talking about, Emmanuel? Blaine from the Roger Hornsby shit. He ended up getting hired. Roach got hired. All these people ended up getting hired somewhere else. Yeah. It was like, aha. Like, why would you want that? So yeah, I'm with you on that, Wyatt. You know what I'm saying? Like, why would you hire somebody who got that ability coming with them, that type of
Sure.
baggage as a police officer?
Hmm.
But somehow they do it anyway.
Yeah. Well, I'll be honest, man. There's a whole lot of professions, not a whole lot, but there's several professions that we could really dig deep on and say we're mistreated in certain areas, man. And they do have insurance. I mean, we don't hold doctors responsible for the things that they make us do that they don't have other people do. But that's a whole nother show, to be honest with you, Fame. But I respect the perspective that you bring in when you say have the police officers. And E-Man, I think that's down the lines of how you think, and that is personal accountability. Then they're going to have to cover the insurance for what they do on the job, and they're going to have to qualify for that insurance.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we talked about
that in on a little short time today because of Manuel not gonna get the little baby, his grandson, but y'all be well, and I'll holler at y'all on the flip.
Okay.
And sorry about you having your what is that called? The copyright flags. E-Man. The discourse and the thread had me cracking up, but y'all be well.
Here we go. I think we have a suspect.
I ain't I'm scared out of that. Y'all mind y'all.
I think we got a suspect. That was Fame. He might have told on himself.
He might have told on himself.
Gotta
But no,
suspect.
we floated that idea. A number of people have floated that idea of basically carrying their own insurance, and of course you'd have to get that through the union to make that decision, and they're not going for that.
Hey,
they're not
what was
going
Fame talking about, man? Copyright. What are you talking about?
for that. Yeah, every day, I don't even play music like how you played the intro. I don't even play music coming into my show. But almost every day, I get a copyright strike against me on Facebook, and they your stuff has been flagged as a copyright issue, and we're gonna mute your audio for this particular list of countries, and it'd be like Guam and Honduras and stuff like that.
What? They
And
can't hear you in Guam now?
I feel bad for the Guamian people that they don't
Right.
get an opportunity to hear me, but it ain't that big of a deal. But I'm not playing on music, and I just had to keep telling them I own the rights to my thoughts. I'm just sharing my
Right.
thoughts, and I own my thoughts. Nobody else can copyright my thoughts. So I have a suspect. Well, now I have two. A suspect that I believe might be throwing stuff out there, but it's okay.
Yeah, well,
okay.
I mean, I get it too. If that makes you feel any better, not really make you feel better, but I'm just letting you know you're not alone. I get it after every
Okay.
show. I seen the post. I put up in the post that I get the same copyright infringement thing, and I can't be heard in, like you said, Guam or wherever. And sometimes I play music, sometimes I don't, but I still get that same flag. I wasn't even thinking that it was somebody that was doing the shit, to be honest with you, bro. I just thought it was some shit that Facebook was doing just on some censorship, and maybe they didn't have certain things going on. And I took it as if maybe I was doing something wrong. I never seen it as being a situation where some hate was going or some shit. You woke me up to that. I didn't see it that way. But now that you say that,
There's haters
yeah,
out there. There's haters out there.
I mean, but why? I mean, but why?
Haters hate. That's what they
But
do.
but why? But why?
I wanted to get to this other story though, real
No,
quick.
man, you trying to avoid the question. I said why.
Let me get to this other story real quick.
Go ahead,
I only
bro.
got a
We
few.
short on time. My fault. Go ahead. Why?
People, Wyatt, in case you didn't know this, and for all of y'all out there who didn't know this, and if you are watching live in Guam right now, if you did not know this, because you won't be able to catch it later, because somebody will put a copyright strike and they're going to take it down in Guam.
Oh,
But
shit.
for those of you who don't know this, America is a messed up place. America, it's a lot of it is just, it's a lot of people in America with issues, and they come up with stuff that I never heard of before. Why, you tell me if you ever heard of this. Right now, there are 4 people dead. 4 people dead. This was in Texas, Brent. This is what this dude did. Apparently, this dude got evicted from his spot. So he comes back later on. He sets the building on fire. Like it's an apartment building. He set the building on fire. Stood across the street, dressed in all black, with a shotgun. And as people come running out the fire, he was picking them off. He was picking them off. He killed 4 people. They say the Houston Fire Department responded to a call around 1:07 a.m. August 28th on the city's south side. As soon as they arrived, they heard gunshots ring out. Of course, forcing firefighters to run for cover. In a parking lot across the street, a 40-year-old man dressed in all black laid in wait with a shotgun. And as residents pulled out of the multiple unit building, he opened fire on them. A few minutes later, Houston police showed up. They spotted the suspect firing from the parking lot. Officer shot the suspect, killing him.
Damn.
Who thinks of doing something like that?
That's some gangster shit. I'm gonna be honest with you. That's what gangsters do. They set the building on fire and wait for people to walk out. I mean, you know, wait for them to run out, and then they shoot them. I mean, was this a trap house he was set on fire? What's going? I mean, I don't mean to make light. I mean, I just don't hear that in regular life. Like, was this a residence of people that he used to live there? I mean, these are
yeah. They say an investigation is underway, but they said the suspect had recently been evicted from the building, and that might have motivated the attack.
Ding, 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 ding. I knew something would come out. He got evicted from the building for what? Probably it more than just maybe non-payment of rent. What about the people that was all up in his business because his music was too loud? Or because they heard something, or they filed complaints on him? That's probably why he was going after all of them, because they was always in his business when he was doing some shit. They was reporting him. So he figured, I'm going to set the building on fire. When they run out, I'm going to get my payback. As crazy as it sounds.
That feels a bit extreme to me. You broke up on my end. I'm not sure. You broke up a little bit, though.
Oh, I broke up?
Yes.
I said, what part sounds extreme? Because it all sounds extreme to me. I'm just saying, like, so what? He just gonna set the building on fire and wait for innocent people to run out and just start firing at him, shooting them. I think he had his reasons of what he was doing to shoot him. I mean, I think they was in his business. I think they contributed getting his ass kicked out of there.
Let me assume for a minute that they contributed to getting him kicked out, which is bad on their part. Maybe.
Okay.
No, you never know what he was doing. The type of dude that would set fire to the building, dressed in all black, with a shotgun across the street and pick people off coming out the building. You know, he might be doing some wild shit up in his apartment that I got to report. Maybe. But let's assume these people was all in their business. That's an extreme reaction to that. That's an extreme reaction. And I fear for America now, because extreme reactions are becoming the norm in terms of a reaction. Extreme reactions are becoming the norm. And where do you go from there? Like, how do you, because you always take things to the next level. Somebody always takes something to the next level. The fact that I said this story, and somebody, Jerica says, a dude in Detroit was randomly shooting at people too. This has become, or is becoming, the norm, which means somebody gonna have to take it to the next level.
Yeah.
Where do we go from here? And I don't even know that there's, like, you can't blame the police. You can't blame the police for this one. This was just some crazy dude. What's happening in our country to move people to? I mean, really, is this just a matter of our lack of dealing with mental illness? Can you even blame this on mental illness? Or is this just some dude that's like super extreme?
No, man, there's no doubt. I shouldn't even have maybe laughed. I didn't mean to laugh at what happened to those innocent people. I'm just telling you that mental illness is real. You can't even think that a regular person would even, first of all, think to do something like this. It's one thing to think it, but to actually activate it and to actually do it and put it in motion, you can't be anything but mentally unstable. I mean, think about, we don't even know if children were running out. You understand what I'm saying, E? Like, think
Yeah,
about somebody. Okay, look, man, I can think to do something like that. Put it in motion. You can't be in your right frame of mind and think that you're going to set a building on fire. And then when people run out, innocent people, when they run, you're going to start open fire on them. I hope somebody took his ass out, because we don't really need people like that in this world, man. I'm sorry. Some people going to hate me for saying that, but he needs to be locked up forever, or they need to have taken him out, because that could have been one of our loved ones in that building, bro. And that's not cool. Everybody didn't tell on his ass when he got kicked out, and we don't even know what he got kicked out for, right? It could have been for non-payment of rent. It could have been any of that. But like, I'm sure everybody in that building may not have had something to do with him being kicked out, or was part of his eviction. And some innocent people probably suffered in that. So, man, that's kind of crazy.
But no, they did. They shot him and killed him, according to the report.
Yeah.
They shot him and killed him, which, you get no complaint against me for that. But
yeah, I mean, that's a tough one, man. I mean, I don't know how many people were in that building. If it was a high rise, if it was a 2-3 family, I don't know any of that information. That's your story there. But I can't imagine if it was, just the innocent people running out of a burning building. You're already shocked that you're running out of all your shit burning up, and then you just trying, you running out with your mouth wide open, basically, and then you running into gunfire. That's like, I told you, that's gangster shit. That's what gangsters used to do back in the day. In real life, they would set buildings on fire at 2-3 o'clock in the morning and watch the people run out, the dope boys run out or whatever, and they would actually shoot them. That was how they would punish people on the streets. So, I mean, unfortunately, I don't think that man who was kicked out is in his right frame of mind. I just don't think that you can be in your right frame of mind and do something like that.
And a part of me feels that way, but there's a part of me that's like, I think you could be, and you could just be a horrible human. Like, being a horrible human is not necessarily a mental disorder. Like, you just horrible as a human, right? Or is it, if you're a horrible individual and you just are, you don't care about other people's life, is that necessarily classified as a mental disorder?
Bro, I just look at the fact that when I see people take action, I look at how much they care of the repercussion. Okay, if there's limited care for repercussion, I think there's some mental going on. Like, when you don't have a care, that you're standing out in the middle of the street and shooting people in, right in broad, not in daylight, but I don't even know if it was nighttime or whatever, but when you shoot people,
1:07 a.m.
1:07 a.m. Okay, so it was dark outside. But when you're not even trying to disguise yourself. When you are standing there and it's you with the smoking gun, you have total disregard to repercussion of what can happen to you. I don't think that you're in your right state of mind. I mean, I think people, and it seems like it's premeditated. You went in, you set the building on fire, you dressed yourself ready to be able to go to war against innocent people, unarmed people. Does that
in
sound
the dark,
like somebody that's
you dressed in all black? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Yeah, I just don't understand. I mean, I don't see how we could see that as being an ordinary, a regular person. I see it as being someone that is definitely, um, has some mental blocks going there.
Okay. I don't know that I agree, but all right. I'm
You
not a
think
mental
that
health
there's just
professional.
bad people that don't have, I measure the repercussion. Somebody that's trying to do this, a bad person would do it, this themselves, or hide. You see what I'm saying? Or hire somebody else to do it, or do things to avoid the penalties. Bad people do it that way. I don't know if bad people in the right frame of mind stand out in the middle of the street and wait for people to come out the door and just start shooting, and everybody know that's who it is,
Yeah, they don't
and stick
care.
around and be fun.
Why you ain't never been to a point where you like, you know what? Maybe not on that level, but you was like, you
I
know
would
what?
say, nah, I never been.
I know I'm gonna get in trouble for this. I know I'm gonna have some consequences for this, but I don't care. I'm so upset or I'm so mad, whatever. I'm this is gonna have to go down, and I take whatever come with it. You ain't never been in that, and that don't mean that you had a mental problem. You was just in that headspace.
That's a great question, E. If I answer it honestly, people won't believe it. People won't believe it. But I can honestly tell you that I've been a somewhat of a passive individual majority of my life, and I generally don't do anything that I have time to figure out and understand the consequences of my actions. I generally try to think about what I'm going to do before I do it. If I'm to the point where I'm gonna screw myself up more than the person that I'm screwing over, then I just very seldom damage myself trying to damage somebody else. Now, I'm sure there's some people out here that understand what I'm talking about. Nobody's ever pushed me, knock on wood, to the brink, to a point where I'm willing to hurt myself, hurting them. I've never been in that position before, and I've had some horrific shit done to me, bro, from family to people I love, and nobody's been able to put me in a position where I'm willing to do myself in, trying to make it even on them. That's an honest answer. I generally think
All right.
about the consequences before I take action on certain things.
Let me tell you, I've been in a position, again, not on that level, but I've been in a position where I was like, you know what? I'm going to lose this job, but that's all right, because this is about to happen.
Yeah.
I've been in that position where I knew what the consequences were, and they were not positive for me, but what was going to happen was going to happen. And I was comfortable. I had, come to grips with the fact that it was going to happen, but what I need to see happen is going to happen. I've been there. And and it's not because I have a mental problem or anything like that, even though some people would argue that, but it's just because that's where I was with that particular situation.
Yeah, and you know what? Like AP just said, Anthony Prosser just made a good point. I'm not talking, there's levels of what I'm talking about, bro. Like he said, but we talking about criminal minded folk, Wyatt. I see what he's saying. Um, I, I just have not personally been pushed to a brink. What's funny? What you read?
So I said, so I peed in the lobby. That's not what I'm talking about.
I've seen that.
That's
shit.
not what I'm talking about.
Hey, man, listen, I've done things at a small level of losing a job. Bro, listen, I told everybody on Wyatt Live, man, I'm starting to wake up now, E. I told you I wasn't feeling good today. So I apologize to the crew, to everybody. I'm just having a hard day today, man. I don't feel well, so I'm not sharp and I'm not on it today. But I personally have done things that ended a job. And like I told people on Wyatt Live, I've never had a job that personally, before I started working for myself, I've never had a job, that I haven't been fired from. Okay, so I've done some shit walking into an office knowing that today my last day, and I know it's my last day because as soon as they say something to me, I'm just going to pop off. But that wasn't detrimental to my life. That meant I had a plan B or I had something already in motion. I'm saying I've never been in a position where when I end this, I'm going to end me. I've never been in a situation like that where I was going to punish myself for punishing somebody. And I don't mean kill myself. I mean like end a certain thing that I'm doing. You know what I mean? I might have a gravy train going on, but I'm gonna let somebody pop it off, and I'm gonna say something to them or do something to them that's gonna end what I got going on. Man, I've had all that thrown at me in life, bro. You know, I mean,
Well, but that's because you have a certain sense of self-worth, and everybody doesn't have that same sense of self-worth. So for them to say, you know, hey, I'm a stand across the street and shoot everybody, it don't necessarily mean he's got a mental disorder. I mean, it doesn't disqualify him from having one, but he doesn't necessarily have to have one. He can just, this is what he values more than that.
hey man, your boy said something on here, bro. I don't know what the fuck. He said, CK, I think it is. He says some people walk in on their wife having sex with her brother and and are never the same.
I could see that. I could see that being the case. I know of a story, and I can say it because he said it over the air.
The fuck,
you
man?
know the,
what are you talking
you
about?
You know the caller Pharaoh?
Yeah, I heard the name.
Calls Lincoln Ware show. Yeah, he said that happened to him. He walked in on his brother and his wife getting it in.
His brother and her.
Yes.
CK said, let me read it again. Because somebody said I don't listen well, but I'll read this shit again. I can read. Said some people walk in on their wife having sex with her brother.
Oh, that is a little different.
I'm sorry, man. Only CK can get me out of my drought right now, man. I swear on everything I feel like crap today. But man, CK, bro, I love this dude. Hey, good luck on your test, man. He taking his GED test on September the 9th. I told him to reach out to me whenever he needed the help. But he's taking his GED test on September the 9th. I want everybody to wish CK well on that test. This is probably like 278th time that he's taking this test. He's been taking this test. Y'all think I'm bullshit. He's been taking this test since 1988.
Now, hold on. Stop. First, I'm not sure that Gerald is CK.
I think it is.
I don't think it is.
No,
Gerald is a caller that used to call me name, or he used to text in or whatever, and he went by the name Lewis.
Wait a
minute.
But
it wasn't CK.
Wait a minute, hold on. Because CK calls me from that same number. I just want to make sure. Because let me just see something.
Yeah, I don't think Gerald is CK.
Okay, my bad. I got the Johnsons mixed up. So my apologies. I thought it was CK, but I just seen him put on there. I take my test September the 6th. So what is Mr. Lewis? What is that, Gerald? What test is that, Gerald?
It might be the G. You might be confusing them.
Oh, so they both going after the GED?
I think they Gerald and Lewis is the same person.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying CK calls me from a number and his name is Gerald, but it says Gerald Johnson. Okay. But the conversations be the same from the phone call to the text message or the whatever.
Hey, Wyatt, I got to
time,
get out of here.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, I got to get out of here. I got to go pick up this little baby.
Saved by the bell. Tell little baby, thank you for saving me today.
I will tell her. Hey, everybody, I appreciate y'all taking a few hours out of y'all day to hang out with us, listen to us, kind of chop it up. Y'all could have called, but that's all right. We'll get there where y'all more comfortable calling. I know Wyatt, he be too hard on people when they call, and he make people not want to call in. But I'll be, in particular, ladies, I'll be gentle.
Hey man, I appreciate everybody having me today. Thank you, Emmanuel, for coming back to the King and I, you've been on, you've been missing for about 8 weeks now. He stood out on us on a contract. One last thing, E, if I may. I know you got to go. One last thing, though. I don't think it's looking good for your man Kaepernick getting back in the NFL. They didn't even put him on the new Madden in the free agency. So, bro, it's over for him. Once they kick you off the Madden game and don't even put you in free agency, chances are you're not coming back.
Well, look, if he don't come back, I'm not coming back.
Oh, and let's say congratulations to him today because he's expecting his first child. So I do want to wish the brother and his woman congratulations, and I wish him well on their first child. So that's Kaepernick is expecting his first child. So that's your man's. So I thought I'd bring that up to you. But hey, like I said, thank you, man, for having me today. I'm sorry about the energy, man. I told you I wasn't really feeling it today. I'm not feeling well today. But maybe on the next one, if we can stay consistent, I'll be back and a little bit more polished and ready to go.
All right. Hey, don't forget, catch Wyatt. Well, you'll be on today at 5.
Oh my God. No. Tomorrow at 5, E. I barely got through this shit. I barely made it through, bro. I mean,
make sure you check out Wyatt. He's on all of the platforms. You can catch him on YouTube. You can catch him on Facebook. Where else can they catch
you? What'd you say? Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and we do the IG and things of that nature. But more so, Facebook Live. I'm switching over. Today I had some complications on my site. I don't know why it wouldn't let me send it over to my page, my personal page, but you can go to Wyatt Live. But don't miss E. You going on tomorrow, E?
I'll be on tomorrow, probably 1 to about 2:30.
Yes, Brent. I'm on MySpace too, bro. You gotta dial up on American Online to get to that one though.
You can catch me on Twitch, on Twitter, on Facebook, on YouTube. I am going to go ahead and start going back on Instagram, and I might even fire up my LinkedIn. I'm going to just be all over the place.
Well, that sounds good, E. I think people are missing you, man. You need to get more in action, more in front of folks, man. You're very entertaining. I love watching your show. I appreciate you. I appreciate your audience. Thanks to the Wyatt Live family. Thanks for tuning in today with us. Appreciate you. Much love. I'll see you guys tomorrow at 5 o'clock. E, I'll be listening to you tomorrow at 1. Are you going to be on tomorrow?
I intend on it.
Okay. See you tomorrow at 1 o'clock.
All right, Wyatt.
All right, brother. He faded out on me. I'll let.
What you got?